The Age of Uprising. This is certificate 15. It's set in.
Where is it set? I was really confused.
Well, it's set in France. This version, it's based on a book that was set in Germany, but I'm pretty sure this version was set in France. But yes, I agree with you. There has been some debate about entirely what language people are speaking and why the language changes and exactly where this movie is set. But as far as I'm aware, this is set in 16th century France. And it's about a horse dealer who feels wronged, really, by one of the local gentry and begins this uprising, this rebellion against him. So Mads Mikkelsen stars. And it is a film based on a book. The book was called Michael Kohlhaas, which is a 19th century German novella, classic bit of German literature. It was adapted into a movie in the 60s, actually. And has a really long history to it, this story in Germany. A bit of a legendary tale, really, about injustice and retaliation. So this version sets the story in the French mountains. And I think on the plus side, I mean, it is exquisite to look at. It's a very stately look at the poverty and the desperation of that era. It was actually up for the Palme d'Or at Cannes last year. So it's clearly an upscale literary adaptation. I did find it a little bit dull.
It was quite, the pace of it was quite, there's not much of a script.
No.
In terms of the, words.
Yeah.
But the pace of it was very kind of controlled.
Yes.
Lots of pauses. I mean, I think he's great.
Yeah, but I think it's Mads Mikkelsen. I agree. I'm a big fan of him, and I think when you see him in modern or reasonably modern settings, whether it's Casino Royale or the Pusher films, or he's Hannibal Lecter, isn't he? There's a TV show where he plays young Hannibal Lecter as this kind of cunning, modern character. I think absolutely, totally buy into him. But to see him playing a peasant from 500 years ago,
you don't like him in the white shirts, do you?
He see the smocks. He just seems a bit. He seems a bit too refined and modern, really, for that role. Someone rural and old-fashioned and grubby, it's just not him. There's a scene where he delivers a baby horse, and seeing him, and pardon the expression, but seeing him elbows deep, delivering this baby like a sort of historical James Herriot type character.
Fool.
It doesn't seem right. It just doesn't seem right. And I think if the film had cast someone a bit more rough and ready, and I think actually if the film itself was a bit more rough and ready and pacey, then it would have been much more fun, because there's certainly passion in this story.
Yeah.
There's real emotion and rebellion in this.
Loves these horses.
But I think Mads might just be a bit too calm and cool to really convey that.
Almost as if he's set the tone with it in a way, in terms
possibly.
of kind of how he's played it, I think, as well.
Yeah, possibly. And he, great actor, but just perhaps wrong for this story.
Did you think about who you would put in his role instead of him?
Yeah, I did. And I was thinking it might sound a bit of a cliche because he's sort of the most famous French actor ever, but Gérard Depardieu.
No.
Maybe not now.
No way.
No, he's too
Come
old
on.
now, but I'm thinking sort of 90s. He has more of a peasant style look to him. Like a man of the earth, and rough and ready. I mean, from the Asterix movies, he's a kind of rough and ready, grubby guy.
Eric would have been great in that role.
Possibly, but yeah. So I just kept thinking Gerard would be just a little bit more peasant-like than Mads, who just seems a little bit too refined.